Hello and welcome to this overnight taste challenge. We have two West Indian rums. This is Cruzan. Established 1760. The distillery has been run by the Nelthrop family since the early 1800s. It's an embossed bottle, Cruzan. It's a nice bottle. It's called Cruzan because they're from St. Croix, and people living on the island of St. Croix are called Croisians. Get it? Croizan. Croizan. All right. So, U.S. Virgin Islands purchased from Denmark in 1917, 106 years ago. So, it used to be the Danish Virgin Islands, and then the other side is the British Virgin Islands. So here is Boquerón Caribbean Gold Rum from Puerto Rico, named after Boquerón Bay, Anchovy Bay. That's what Boquerón means, anchovy. Only from 2016. So this is a new one. 2016. It's shipped to Texas and bottled in Texas by Iron Wolf Distillery and Ranch. Pour too much. All right. I'm wasting it in all these over pours. All right. It just comes out that bottle so fast. This one's easier to pour from, the Cruzan. Metal cap, wooden cap with a neoprene stopper. Let me wipe this up. It's a little bit of a spill. Oh, man. I need to buy a funnel for the kitchen. That way, when I do over pour, you know it's going to happen again. Then I don't have to waste it. That's silliness. So I'll have to buy that this week. Could just use a straw to siphon it out. All right. The Cruzan is aged 2 to 4 years. I forgot to put that in the notes. No, I did put that in this. Aged 2 to 4 years. That means it's a blend of rums, 2 years old. No, these are rums. All right. Right. Is made from sugarcane, either the sugarcane juice or molasses, a byproduct of sugar production. It's probably more likely made from molasses. All right, light molasses. If it's dark molasses, then rum will be very dark. Whiskey is made from grain, corn usually, or barley. Depends, you can make barley whiskey like they do malted barley, like Scotland, single malt whiskey, or corn, bourbon. Hmm. The color looks great on the rums, is a nice golden color. Yes. Now, one of them is very pale, you see, so the Boquerón from bottled in Texas is very pale, not made in Texas. And they're making rum in Kentucky these days at Glenmore Distillery. Started making rum there. Is it any good? I couldn't tell you. I haven't tried it. I have some of it, but I haven't tried it yet. I have a few brands from there. I'm being careful not to look down. Sweet, and then you get the grass flavor from the sugarcane stalks. There's no getting around it. It's just like grass, just like grass. I don't eat grass. All right. But anyway. Now, over here, you get charred oak. I think they're using oak barrels to age. Well, and it's charred oak. Could be old Jim Beam barrels, because I know that Cruzan is in collaboration with Beam Suntory. I'm pretty sure it's Beam Suntory, yeah, and or they may be outright owned by them now. But the Nelthrop family still runs it. Kind of like Leinenkugel's got bought out by Miller Brewing in 1988, but the Leinenkugel family is still allowed to run it. Okay. Which one tastes better on this cold morning, chilly morning? I like the aging of it. It gives it, that roasted taste, kind of like sugar that's been browned in a pan, caramelized or something like that. It hasn't been roasted or toasted, but got that taste to it. It's kind of nice. Cruzan, oh, you can get it for cheap. I paid $9.99 for that bottle. And I saw it for $9.99 last week, 2 weeks ago at International Market. Now the price has gone up mostly around, but you can still track it down for $9.99. You'll spend $4 in gas trying to save $1 on the bottle, but you know what I'm saying. You might stumble across it for that low price. The Boquerón is very sugary, and it's just like sugar water. I'll say that about whiskey. Sometimes they taste like sugar water. It is sugary. Ooh wee. Not in a bad way. I mean, why wouldn't it be sugary? Rum is made from sugar. That's what it is. It's a liquor made from sugar. Whiskey is a liquor made from grains, whatever, a combination of grains or one single grain like rye or corn or barley, or even in Louisiana they make a rice whiskey. Brandy is a liquor made from grapes. Oh, you can make it from other fruits too, like apples. But so brandy is made from fruit, grapes. Vodka is made from grains or tubers, right? Spectacular tubers, potatoes or grapes, fruit. See, vodka is a distillate. Ciroc vodka is made from grapes. The crawl vodka that I was trying at my friend's house made from potatoes. And then most of the vodka in the United States made from grain. Gin is made from grain spirits, but it's soaked in juniper berries, or the juniper berries are soaked in the grain. I mean, the grain spirit. I mean to say, and they'll add other spices to it, depending on the gin that you're drinking. But legally, gin has to be soaked with the juniper berries. You can add other spices or not. That's up to you. But it has to be a juniper berry treated thing. That's the definition of gin. Tequila is made from a certain type of agave plant. It has to be mostly agave. Mezcal has to be mostly agave too, but it doesn't have to be Blue Weber agave. It can be any kind of agave. And so, you got these different spirits, and they come from those different distillation materials, raw materials, organic material. Okay. Right now we're dealing with rum. Which one? Okay, I know this is the Cruzan. Got it. And I only got it wrong once, and I was shocked when I got it wrong because I thought for sure I was going to get those two right, one from the other, but I didn't. But I got the Castle, how you say it in Spanish, Castillo. I got the Castillo confused with the Boquerón, because I thought the Castillo was more sugary, but it's drier. And the Boquerón is more sugary. Okay, so which one tastes better here? It's about the same. Tell you the truth, y'all, it's about the same. So if you want a rum that's very sugary, which makes sense, it's from sugar, but not so oaky, doesn't have as much oak character, then get the Boquerón. It's fine. $10.99 a bottle, no big deal. I paid $6.99. What a great deal they had at Rouse's. And you can't complain. Now, if you want the more oak thing, aged 2 to 4 years in oak, so average of about 3-year age. That's the average, about 3 years old. Then you would, you would get the Cruzan. To me, the Cruzan is better. I like the more wood-oriented thing. I like that wood flavor that you get. Okay, so that's my preference. Let me see something on this camera. I'll try something. Tilting it a little bit more, so I'm more in the picture. You're in the picture. Yeah, that's better. That's a little bit better angle. More of this cabinet. There's the calendar. See the coffee cup. And the pastries. Oh no, somebody's hand grabbing the cup. Sorry. They're drinking coffee together and talking about the Bible. I can see now. That's it, fingers like that. Talking about the Bible or something to do with Lent. They give these calendars out at church every year. So I get them. They have nice things on them. All right. Oh, that's gone. Okay. All right. Okay. Lent. Talking about Lent, and I had a piece of Lent. All right. So the winner is Cruzan because it is a better flavor, and secondly, the price is the same. So you can't say, well, you got to consider price because this one. No, they're the same price. And the price is very nice. Okay. Now we got one more kind of premier brand coming up, if you want to call it. It's but a noted brand, Rico. I mean, yeah, they got bought out like all the rest. They got bought out so long ago, it's not even funny. And now they have a new owner from the last 23 years, and it's Beam. Jim Beam bought it. Beam Suntory bought it because the parent company went out of business. Seagram's is gone. You said, no, I saw Seagram's whiskey the other day. Yeah, they still make the brands, but the company's gone. All their assets were sold off. And Beam got a hold of a bunch of their stuff, including Ron Rico. And Ron Rico used to be big. Now, I didn't follow rum when I was 10 years old because I wasn't interested in drinking, you know, or I was interested in comic books like these and sports, you know, football and all that. So, still am. But back in those days, Ron Rico was like toe and toe with Captain Morgan and doggone Bacardi. And Ron Rico used to have advertisements in all the magazines constantly, and they had sweepstakes. I saw in 1980 you could win a gold. Maxwell, good morning, Ron. How do you have a new camera? Yes, it is a new great quality camera. Thank you. It's $30. Not much money, really. But Burley Sullivan says, clinking the mugs, clinking the mugs, clinking the mugs. Thank you, Burley. So about to get out of here, y'all. But they had a contest. You could win Ron Rico Gold, a gold Trans Am, Pontiac Trans Am, Firebird Trans Am, or you could win a silver Firebird Trans Am. That was the grand prize sweepstakes because, you know, they had the silver Ron Rico and the gold Ron Rico. So, and I put that in alcohol eggs. That was kind of neat. But then around 1983, 84, you stopped seeing the ads because, you know, Seagram's was going woo, down, down, down. And they couldn't probably afford the ads and just started cutting back everywhere. And it didn't do them any good. They sold a bunch of their brands off to Sazerac in 1989. Like one of the brands they sold was called Dr. McGillicuddy's Fireball, which they had created in 1984. Dr. McGillicuddy's line of flavored whiskeys. One was called Fireball. Nobody bought it. Sazerac bought it for a low price, but I don't know if they reformulated it. They rebranded it to make it look nicer. They detached it from the Dr. McGillicuddy's line, which is still on the market. And they put it out there as Fireball. And you know how popular that is in the top 3 or 4 whiskeys in the whole United States. Not really a whiskey, it's a whiskey liqueur, but you know, cinnamon, it's cinnamon flavored whiskey, you know. But they did something with it, whereas Seagram's was doing nothing with it. But it didn't do them any good. Then they sold off a bunch of other brands to Beam in 1994, 5 years later. Still didn't help them, and they went out of business in 2000. So it was pretty clear they needed cash. If they're going to sell off a bunch of their brands, needed cash. Probably what Diageo needed too. That's why Diageo sold a bunch of brands to Sazerac in 2018. Diageo is a much bigger company, but they've been buying a lot of people's stuff, so maybe they needed some cash flow to help pay down the debt. And they went to Sazerac, say, "Hey, you want to buy these 18 brands?" Sure, they said sure, and they bought the Seagram's VO. You've heard of VO, right? Seagram's VO. Canadian whiskey, real popular product. Then Brown-Forman sold a bunch of stuff to Sazerac, like Southern Comfort, for $500 million. Then they turned around and sold Early Times to Sazerac for another big chunk of change. And Sazerac's been doing all kind of special early time stuff, and like bottle and bond. Oh, and then Sazerac bought the Myers' rum. Myers is, not Myers. Myers is rum from that was part of that 2018 Diageo purchase. And now they got all kind of special Myers'. They got the silver, which they've always had. They got the dark, but now they're coming out with single barrel. I saw this at Total Wine and More and some other stores. Myers is single barrel this, single barrel that, single barrel this other thing. Of course, you know, they're not $18. They're much higher, much more expensive. But I haven't bought them yet. I'd like to. Okay, so it just goes to show you take a company that's kind of creative, want to try different things. and they can do something with it. They did the same thing with Benchmark. They bought Benchmark from Seagram's back in '89. They didn't do much with it, but about 3 years ago, they decided to get it fancy, kind of fancy it up. And now you got Benchmark old number 8, the original. You've got the top floor edition, the single barrel edition, the bottle and bond edition, the this thing gets hung up. The autofocus gets a little confused. I see that on a lot of people's live videos. The camera can't get it together. The barrel proof edition. Boy, barrel proof. Okay, well, I'm out of here, y'all. Y'all take care. There's like some little bug flying around, and it's like microscopic. I can't see it, but when it flies in front of the camera, the light hits it, and it looks big, but it isn't. It's probably some little tiny gnat. Okay, well, take care. Bye-bye, everybody.